I'm Kimberly DeVries with IMMarketNews.com. We talked to PrezHero marketer Neil Napier, and he told us his story that took him from rags to riches and what mindset he's adopted to succeed in the internet marketing space. He gave us the scoop on the best way to run multiple launches, and he shares his formula for success in this exclusive interview only on IMMarketNews.com.
Hey Kimberly, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Doing well.
You're probably really busy, right?
I actually am. So we've got a launch going on at the moment, and I'm surviving on 4 hours of sleep and lots of caffeine. So crazy time.
I got a message from somebody last night. We were scheduling another interview, and
Sure.
I was sleeping, and he said we can interview now. And when I woke up, I said, "Sorry, I was sleeping," and I thought that must be very funny for people like you. I'm telling you I'm sleeping, and you're saying I have 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of
Oh,
sleep.
we get envious about it. I mean, when someone tells us, and my girlfriend's the same. She has a normal 8-hour sleep cycle, and I'm super envious of that she can manage all of that time in bed. But that's it. That's a good thing. So,
And
yeah.
especially during the launch period, we know how you're juggling so many things at once. How are you doing that? How are you finding the time to talk to me right now?
Well, luckily in my case, I have a team that takes care of most of the things when I'm not there to. So, we play tag team with each other because when someone's going to sleep or, someone's walking away from the computer, we just let the other person know that, hey, can you look at the support? Can you look at live chat? Can you make sure that nothing goes down in all that time? So we have this big team now that takes care of everything in terms of what we do.
That's awesome. The team, I'm sure, is critical. How did you build that team?
Oh, it took me a long time. I mean, initially it's funny when I first started doing this, I actually had to create my own sales pages. I had to create my own product, of course, and do everything myself. And the problem with that is that I'm not really a graphic designer myself. So I had to go to YouTube and learn how to use Photoshop quickly. And I would buy, templates of sites like Graphic River, and I would just take the part that I wanted, change the text in that, add a few effects, and put that in my sales copy along with the text. And that's just one thing. I mean, there were sales videos, there was support, there were, talking to affiliates. So it was quite everything, by myself. But hey, that's part of challenge when you're bootstrapping, when you're starting up. I think it's exciting actually.
So you
Yeah.
started up, you started around 2012. You've been in around 4 years, is that right? Yeah?
Correct. That's about right. Yeah.
And I'm looking, Neil, you've got a ton of products that you've launched. I'm counting 52, a ton. So I want
Yeah.
to find out from you how,
Mhm.
how you are managing so many products in such a short period of time. When one product ends, are you then working on the next, or how are you doing that?
I mean, that number might seem a bit inflated because quite often I've been doing just videos or webinars for people, and I think my name gets thrown in the hat as well because, affiliates like to know that I'm involved in some way. Just it's good for reputation of the product launch itself. I don't mind because if anything I can do to help the launch actually be better, that's what happens. I think the real number might be actually close to 25 or 30, which is still quite big, I must admit. And I think the secret to that is, I mean, number one, partnering up with right people. So a lot of what we do, there's so much to do that I can't do everything myself. So I work with people like Karthik, with Abhi, with other people like Martin Crumlish, who are able to also complement the set of skills that I bring to the table. So that's a very important thing. Like I mentioned, the team definitely helps. And number three is that we recently brought all our development in-house. And what I mean by that is we are able to actually create everything on the fly, as and when we need, rather than going to outsourcers and hiring them for a project. Now, as soon as we have an idea, we can mock up wireframes and take it to developers and work with them to get a solution created within a few months. Some projects take long. I mean, some projects literally take about 8 to 12 months, but we have a few going at the same time, so it keeps us busy.
I like what you said about bringing everything in-house. Makes total sense. I guess you get to a point where you're doing everything on your own as these people begin launching or they come into the space. There comes a point where your growth is too much. You got to bring it in, or outsource it. So, yeah, very good.
Exactly. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time just talking with people, negotiating, contracts and everything. This is far simpler, and I think it's just better for the health of the company as well, long term. So customers know that when we sell a product, we have the developers to add features to it or to support it, which doesn't happen if you just hire an outsourcing team because you don't really have those kind of contracts with them. They create something, they give it to you, they walk away. That's it. It's done. So you end up with a really buggy product that is never fixed. But we try and do everything by the book.
How do you handle your support? So you're launching these products, you've got support, you outsource all that?
Again, it's all in-house, so we have our own team that takes care of that. We have 3 people. We try and work around the clock, doing 24 hours as often as we can. Weekends, we usually end up with like 8-hour, 12-hour time period because the support agents work part-time, 4 hours on weekends. So that's just to make sure that all our customers are taken care of, even when we are not actually there. So it's been quite important to discuss with our support team. For example, we have weekly meetings to talk about what products we're promoting, what products we are launching, what kind of emails people can expect, and then they come to us with like issues. So I had this problem, how should I resolve it next time? So all this kind of feedback thing, I mean, well, let's just say as a manager, which is really what I'm, glorified manager, it's good to talk with my team and make sure that everyone's happy with what they're doing.
Awesome. So I loved hearing a little bit about your story. You were fired from your job. Give us just a snippet about how that inspired you, where you came from.
Correct. So like many other people out there, I was also affected by the recession back in 2008 and 2010. So I was working for this bank developing software, and as you know, banks were some of the hardest hit, and I was in the UK. So I was doing software for them, and they told us that, oh, we got to let you go because we are outsourcing our operations to India, and they offered me the chance to go to work in India. And I was like, no, I just want to stay in the UK. I don't want to go anywhere else. So I gave up on that. But someone told me that if you want to make some quick money on the side, start freelancing. And I thought, okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll go and check it out anyway. He told me about Freelancer, Elance, and Odesk and all these sites. So I went there, and I had a flair for writing, mostly technical writing. So I went to these sites and I quickly got jobs for doing technical work for other people. So one of the first roles that I had was actually working for $4 an hour. So I mean, in my company I was making $22 an hour, depending on exchange rate. But now suddenly I was doing this $4 an hour job just because I wanted to get some experience. And I was creating presentations for this guy, and he was just going on to present them, and he was really happy with the results. But then I realized I had to move forward and do something else. I ended up doing a lot of copywriting for other people, getting paid to write their sales pages. And then I, evolved from there slowly into actually doing products. So it's been a gradual change over time, but all of that has been around creating an offer, creating my own brand in a way that people can recognize immediately and know that, Neil Napier hopefully means good quality products.
Awesome. So you've really kind of gone through a lot of transformation. Your business has gone through a lot of transformation. What would you say is the biggest thing you're doing different, either in your mindset or physically what you're doing different with your team, from when you started in 2012 to today?
I think it's a very good question, and I'll tell you this, that I'm in a phase of transition right now. I can't reveal too much because it'll be revealed over time in the next few months. But one thing I was really afraid of when I was starting out was I was afraid of growing and or being successful or being rich, and that sounds really ridiculous you say it like that. But the thing is, a lot of us have this belief that, I'll do the best I can, but I don't think it'll be the best that I want it to be, the results. And we all kind of hold ourselves back thinking that I could never be that guy. I could never really do what that guy, does. I could never make that much money. And, that was a really big limiting belief even when I got started. So the first product I did, I said, okay, if I hit this goal, great, I'll be like ecstatic. And we hit that goal. But then now I've come to realize that as you grow, your aspirations, your ambitions grow as well. And for me, that's been a main thing in this entire journey, is that I realized that there's no ceiling to growth. As soon as you hit that next level, you want to go even further, and you want to go even further. And it's the same thing with team. I mean, like I said, I started by myself. The first person I hired was a designer because that was what I was really weak at. And slowly we built a team, and now we have about 15, 20 people at different times working in our company. And that's a very big number. But again, I was able to accomplish all of that because I knew that I gave myself permission to succeed, which is something, unfortunately, not a lot of people do.
I love what you say. It's so true. And we're kind of trained to be small. And breaking out of that is not easy. It's getting out of your comfort zone. It's doing things you've never thought you could do before. And thank you for saying it, because I think in
Of
this
course.
space we see a lot of people who've really broken out of that, those limiting
Hmm.
fixed beliefs. And I love to hear when people have their own story to share. So thanks so much.
Of course.
You've got PrezHero going on right now. You've told us kind of what you're doing during the launch. What do you
Mhm.
have coming up next?
So I'll tell you that a lot of our income, let's say 40% of our income that we make every month, is because of one special thing, and that's doing webinars. So what we're really good at is, doing webinars for our own customers, for other people as well. I often get hired out 3 to 4 times a month to do webinars for other people, and the reason is because I know exactly what to say it, how to present it, and that really helps me set apart from every other vendor in the market, because they're really only good at a few things, but well, I mean, I don't want to brag, but I'm really good at doing webinars. So, we have also realized that there's a big gap in the market out there in terms of the webinar solutions that are available to people. So something like to webinar, for example, if you want to use that, that would cost you $389 a month, 389, and that's for 1,000 people limit. So it's very limiting in the way what you can do with it and how much you can use it. So what we decided was that we had to, the industry is ready for disruption, as they say. So we had to create something truly remarkable that wasn't based on archaic technology like Google Hangouts. And so we created Webinar X. And Webinar X is the next generation of doing webinars and doing them live, and having as many people as you want on a webinar, and making sure at the same time that it fits everyone's pockets. We don't want to charge someone $389 a month, because we truly think that figure is absolutely inflated. So we want to make sure that we're able to give value at a price that people are able to afford. So that's exactly what we did. We created a platform that people can use to talk to their clients, to talk to their customers, and do so in real time without too much lag, and with a really good user experience as well.
Awesome. So we're looking at what's happening now with PrezHero. We've got Webinar X coming next. We're going to be watching that as well. It's certainly been a pleasure speaking with you. I have one more question, and that is,
Sure.
if you were to give one very short piece of advice to somebody new to this internet marketing field, what's the most important thing that you would tell them?
The most important thing would be to be persistent, and I think a lot of people lose hope when they try and dig through a tunnel. And I've seen this cartoon on this little picture on websites. When someone's digging through a tunnel and they decide to walk away, when the gold, the diamonds were just like right next to them if they had dug in a bit further. So I think I always like to say that keep pushing. Even if you feel that today was a bad day, start again fresh tomorrow, knowing that today would be better than yesterday. And as long as you have that attitude to life, I think marketing online, or this internet marketing, this business, could be very easy to execute.
Great advice. Beautiful. Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right, we know you're busy. We know you got a lot to handle, so we're not going to take any more of your time, but we do appreciate you joining us, and we wish you the best on your launch and your upcoming launches.
Sure. Thank you very much, Kimberly.
So be persistent and find your diamond. Inspiring advice from a seasoned marketer. He gave himself permission to succeed and is ready to disrupt the market with yet another product launch. We'll follow Neil during his transition phase, and we're excited to see what new things he will bring to the market. Visit IMMarketNews.com to find the details of PrezHero launch, and stay tuned to IM Market News for the latest happenings.